Hello everyone. For anyone that doesn't know me, my name is Ratti, and I coach the flag football team this year, along with Shannon Morrison and Ron Cavallo. Unfortunately, I can't be there with all of you this afternoon, so I'd just like to say thank you to Shannon and Ron for all the help this year. Together, I think we did a great job teaching these kids the basics of the game and had a lot of fun doing it. I'd also like to thank the VJV board members and all the volunteers. You all do so much for this program, and some of you don't even have kids in the program any longer. But you're still involved, and I can't say a big enough thank you. I'm not going to try to name everyone. I know it's a bit of a cop-out, but I don't want to forget anyone. So thank you to everyone who's helped out this year, and a special thank you to Scott McGee for putting our video together. I'd like to say a few brief comments about the kids, and then I'll pass along to Shannon and Ron to distribute the trophies. First, let me just say that we had a total of 14 players on the team, and we really couldn't have asked for a better group. They were athletic, very energetic, and just genuinely excited to play football. Of the 14 players, 9 were first-timers. And let me tell you, they did an awesome job picking up the game. Of those 9 first-timers, 4 were first graders. And I had a little trouble with 2 of their names at first, because both were in first grade, both had blonde hair, and both are just happy, easygoing kids. Their names were Braden McGinty and Grady McGee. Needless to say, they had to correct me a couple times. I'm sure I could bind those names in so many different ways, but kids were really good about it, and we got them down. I'll start with Grady McGee. Grady hit the ground running for us, literally. This kid doesn't stop. You want to see someone with a non-stop motor, just look at Grady. I wasn't sure where to play him at first, but I knew we needed to have him on the field. Played some running back for us, was working a little bit at quarterback. On defense, he played some defensive end, but with his speed, I moved him to linebacker and he turned into one of our best defenders. So good job, Grady. Next is Braden McGinty. Braden was such a pleasure to coach and would do whatever you asked. He always tried hard, and I knew we could rely on him. That's why he was a fixture for us to tackle this year. Towards the end of the year, we really progressed and showed some great promise running the ball, and I was excited to see what he could do. I'm excited to see what he could do next year as well. Good job, Braden. The other 2 first graders are Hudson Martin and JC Slaves. JC was our other bookend tackle, and for whatever he lacked in size, he more than made up for it with his heart and his effort. I would oftentimes look at him and tell him we need a big block, and ask him if he could do it, and every time he would look back at me and say yes. Didn't matter who I was asking him to block. I could have been asking him to block J.J. Watt, and he would look at me, tell me yes, and try his best. Great job, JC. I think Hudson was by far our smallest kid, so naturally, I played him at center. Kidding aside, he was a player that we could totally trust in getting the ball back to our quarterback. More than that was how hard he tried on every single play. There's a great picture of him when we were playing White Plains and he was going for a sack, and the focus and determination is evident on his face. I believe it's in our video, so if you haven't seen it already, keep an eye out for it. Great job this year, Hudson. On to our second graders. Alex Ratti had never played football before, but he did a great job learning and growing as a player throughout the year. Now, I'm not sure why, but it always seemed like Alex was matched up against the other team's biggest kids. But I knew he would always try his best. And even if he needed a play or 2 to catch his breath, he never quit, and he always got back in there. Great job, Alex. Roman Lombardo is probably the most intense little guy I've ever seen. I mean, he had the most intensity I've ever seen in such a small package. I called him the Romanator. And he loved chasing after kids and trying to get their flags. And it really looked like things clicked for him towards the end of the year. And he really impressed us on defense. So great job, Roman. Chris Molinari is one of those kids who's always smiling. He's always having a good time. He wanted to try every position, and I tried to give him a chance to do that. He really did a great job for us as one of our guards. But he just seemed to like running into people. But he really loved playing defense as well. So he settled in nicely and played some cornerback and did a great job. Good job, Chris. Anthony Nicolakakos is a fun player to coach. Not only because of his name, but because he's really just out there having a good time. He never asked to play a certain position. He never complained when you put him somewhere. He really just had a fun time running after the other kids. And if he was on offense, he would oftentimes be still locked up with the player that he was blocking long after the play was down the field. Great job, Anthony. Xavier Prekelazai really showed us some natural raw ability, and he tried hard to get better all the time. He had good size, good speed, and an overall willingness to get better. He really played well all year, and was even able to break a long run for a touchdown against Mount Vernon. Now, anyone who's played Mount Vernon knows that's pretty difficult to do. So great job, Xavier. Let me move on to the 5 returning second graders. I really can't say enough good things about these 5. I mean, they're just so easy to coach, great kids. I'm going to start with Dylan Carbone. Dylan was one of our running backs and played cornerback on defense. He did an awesome job at both. Couldn't ask for somebody to do a more complete job. A lot of times we scored when Dylan was on the field because he was either doing a great job running the ball, and if he wasn't, he did a great job blocking for us. We could always count on him to make that big block. He never complained. He always tried hard. Great job, Dylan. Luca Cavallo played some quarterback for us. Anybody that's watched us knows he's got a good arm. I mean, he's got probably the best arm I've ever seen in a second grader. I coached him in baseball too, so trust me, he's got a good arm. He always did a great job on defense for us as well. Sometimes I'd have to motivate him a little bit and get him into what we call beast mode. Sometimes it involved pushing a little button behind his ear to really get him going, to activate beast mode. But he was just another one of these fun kids, great kid to coach, really did a great job. Sean Morrison started off the year with a bang, making a game-saving tackle against White Plains on the last play of the game. It preserved the win for us, and he just was, we were just so proud of what a great job he did. He's another one of those players that no matter who we told him to block, what we asked him to do, he'd do it. He never backed down and always got it done for us. Great job, Shawnee. Tyler Ratti did such a great job for us on both sides of the ball. On offense, he always seemed to break a big run when we needed it. And on defense, at our night on the lights, he had a game-saving tackle as well, getting the other guy's flag at like the 5-yard line after chasing him for like 80 yards to keep it a tie. I was really proud of him and how well he did all year. Great job, Tyler. I think it was probably, this is a funny little story about Sean and Tyler. I think it was probably the 3rd week of practice when Shannon and I turned around, and Sean and Tyler were literally running the practice. They're getting all the kids together, lined up, running the warm-up, and just going through all the things we do in the beginning of practice. I think everyone here knows how difficult it is to get first and second graders to do anything you want them to do. So for Sean and Tyler to pull everyone together like that was pretty cool. It also showed us what a great group of kids this really was and how eager they were to play football. Now we have one last player, and this kid was such a joy to coach. I can't even say enough nice things about him. He would try his hardest on every play, and his focus on football was unbelievable. When we discussed the Viking Award this year, we believed there were a lot of kids on the team who could have won it. We had a lot of kids that just loved football and always tried their hardest, but we all agreed this one player deserved it because his love for the game and because he never had to get him focused on football. He was always there to play football, he was always giving his best, and that's why this year's Viking Award for Flag goes to Neil Palercio. Great job, Neil. Thank you, everyone.